Blog Talk Radio.
Recruiting Animal here on April 22nd, 2015, April 22, 2015. And my introduction is going to be a little odd this week because I thought I had a very good introduction last week, but everybody, and I mean everybody, told me it was too long and too confusing, so I'm going to do it again and get it right. And here it is. I read an article on ERE last week by someone called Maury Hannigan, and she divided the people you meet on a search into 9 types. And knowing them in advance, she says, might help you to recognize where you're headed with somebody very quickly. The first 4 types are people you don't want to spend time with. And here they are. Number 1, people who are locked into their jobs. They're locked into their jobs. They can't leave. They have a big retention bonus or some other issue that makes it impossible for them to leave. Next, the people who are very happy. They're not somewhat happy. They're not unhappy. They're very happy. They really like it there. They're not going to leave. Next, job hoppers. I don't have to say anything about that. Next, incompetence. These people might want to move, but you don't want to move them. Now you're moving into the next 4 people. Those are the people you want to spend time with. Those are the people you want to talk to. And there's ambitious people. They want to get promoted quickly by changing jobs. There's people who are somewhat happy. They're happy where they are. They're good at their job, but they're not perfectly happy. Then you got people who are out and out unhappy. They hate the boss. There's something about the company they don't like. They want to move. Then you've got people who are in bad companies, just like that old band, bad companies. They see a layoff coming. They see the company being sold. They want out. And finally, you got people who are a mix, the unemployed. Some of them are good. Some of them aren't. You want to talk to some of them. You don't want to talk to everybody. And that's it. That's it. I did it really fast. You know, Castro, Fidel, he used to give speeches that were 6 hours long, and not one person left while he was talking. But I don't have a secret police to force everyone to listen to me. So my listeners get restless after about, 3 minutes, and they don't mind telling me because that's democracy. And on this show, the mob gets to speak. And Jerry, what show is that?
The Recruiting Animal Show!
Hey, Jerry, thank you!
Thank you, Animal. Thank you.
Okay. You have anything you want to say before I call in the guest?
About Castro?
No. Okay, we'll move on. Because we got a lot to talk about.
I'm running a little bit late today. What with being caught up with actual business and all.
Yeah, okay. You want to brag? There's a lot of people, there's a lot of recruiters on Facebook. They never put anything there unless they're bragging, okay?
Oh, my goodness, I hate that.
I hate it, too. So you don't do it here, Jerry, okay?
I like to pretend like I'm not bragging when I am.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, fine. Let's move on. Jeff, I don't know how to say the guest's name today. Is it Jeff Chaponick or Jeff Chaponick? What is it?
It's Jeff Chappie.
It's Chaponick.
That's your short. No, Jerry told me everybody calls you Chappie. What's your name?
Jeff Chaponick.
Jeff Chaponick. Jeff Chaponick. I got it wrong. But you want
That's
people
okay.
to call
you were close.
You want Chappie. Is that Jeff or Chappie? What do you want us to call you?
Oh, call me Jeff.
Well, I'll call you Chappie then. Okay. Okay. Now, I'll introduce him because he's got a lot of introductions on different web pages. I don't have to let him fumble through his own self-introduction, okay? Jeff Chaponick, I think that's what he said, is from New Jersey. Listen to this. He sold his own garbage business and retired when he was 33 years old. At age 33, he was already retired. 6 months later, however, he met the owner of, sounds like a new branch of MRI, Management Recruiters International. And this guy introduced him to recruiting, and Jeff became a top 10 recruiter in the world. Out of 5,000 MRI recruiters globally, this guy was in the top 10.
God.
Am I right so far?
You are on the money, baby.
Wow.
Okay.
Top 10.
Okay. I'll keep going. Jeff was then recruited to a company called the Lucas Group. That's another large recruiting company, and he was hired specifically, his website says, to show other producers how to be a big biller, and that's someone who makes over $1 million in fees annually. He was brought in to teach people how to do that, and I hope he's going to teach us how to do that today. Not done.
I love those numbers. I just need to add this. I love those numbers, Animal.
Okay, Jerry, maybe he'll teach you how to be a manager as well.
I'd love it.
Okay. In 2002, he started his own recruiting firm, MAC. I guess that's how you say it. MAC Executive Recruiters, MAC. It also says Jeff has worked in dozens of verticals.
Multiple.
And in 2015, he says MAC is on track to bill enough to climb into the top 10% of recruiting firms, I guess, in the United States.
What number would that have to be?
Is there anything? Go ahead, Jerry. You want to say something?
I'm just, as we go along this trail of success, I've just got a question. What number does an agency have to hit to be in the top 10%?
It would have to be over $5 million a year. We're far past that, but I think $5 million takes you into the top 10%. Okay, and I mean you're just guessing, or I thought you might know an actual number. No. It over $5 million puts you in the top 10% of billings of all permanent placement recruiting companies. All right.
You know, Jeff sounds a little soft-spoken. I imagine somebody who was going to be, whoa, you know what? I forgot the song. And he's ready to sing. You're going to sing, aren't you?
See, now you've ruined this. Don't do the song.
Okay, I'll let Jeff decide. Do you want to sing or not?
Well, I'm a horrible singer, but I'm not scared.
Okay, then you prove it. I'll sing the first line that we're going to go into the sha-la-la. That's all we're going to do. Anybody want to sing Jersey Girl with us? They're all chickens, Jeff, except you. Anybody want to sing who's here?
Is it by Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, Tom Waits. Okay?
Oh.
See, if I said Springsteen, he would say it was garbage. Okay, let me go on.
Springsteen sucks.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
Nothing matters in this whole wide world when you're in love with a Jersey girl. Come on, Jeff. Sha-la,
sha-la-la-la-la-la-la.
Oh, yeah.
Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. I'm in love with the
Jersey girl. Very good. Thank you. Jeff, let me ask you a question. Would you ask any one of your staff members or your candidates to change their LinkedIn picture?
I would not do that.
No. Okay.
I would not.
Really? Okay. Listen, next question. I'm just going to jump into questions. Is it okay, because people are excited. They want to hear from you. Is it okay to dump bad job orders? Is it okay to stop working on a job order that's taken a lot of time and isn't showing a decent promise of results?
Absolutely, 100%. It's okay to drop bad job orders.
There's a guy in England. He's going to say I'm misquoting him. And Mitch, his name is Mitch Sullivan, and he said that contingent recruiters are misrepresenting themselves when they take a job order and they don't tell you that, if it's not going to produce very quickly, they're just going to not work it. That's not misrepresentation, is it?
Well, I think you're talking about two different things. I mean, number one, is it a bad job order and it's not real and you're going to drop it? That's okay. If you're committing to a client that you're taking a job order and you don't feel you can get it done fast enough for you to make money, that's not okay. You need to be clear with the client. This is something that I'm not going to be successful at. It's something that I don't want to work on, and I'm going to, let the open job order go. Find someone else.
Yeah, I'm not clear about what he said. Did you understand that, Jerry? Jerry's gone already. Okay, Jeff, you take a job order. You call somebody up. I'm a headhunter. Give me a job. They give you a job. You start working it. You're working it. You're working it. Nobody's interested in moving to their company. I don't know what your general stats are, but you get to a point where you think, you know what? How long is it going to take for me to fill this job? I'm not making any money until I fill it, and it's taken me a long time. I don't know if I'm ever going to find somebody they want. I'm going to stop working this and work on something that's better. Do you have to call them back and say, I'm going to finish this off? What's the story?
I think there has to be full transparency. I think that if it's a very difficult search and you committed to doing it, and
what
you
does
have
that
found
mean
that
for a contingent recruiter? What does it mean for a contingent recruiter? I committed to doing it.
Listen,
they're not
they're
not paying you, Jeff. They're not paying you. You're doing it for nothing.
Well, then, so are you someone who doesn't have any integrity? You're the one who probably dialed the phone asking for the work.
Well, you finish off. Go ahead. What do you have to say, and we'll get off this point. I see your
point.
Okay.
I think that you have to do what you say, and you say what you do.
Okay. Let's say someone resigns from your.
Hey, Animal,
yeah.
that's perfect. That's the perfect thing recruiters need to be doing. They need to be telling their customers when. And this is Rebecca, by the way.
Yeah.
I love your guest today. He's right on the money. He really is. Tell your customers.
Yeah, he's not on the money. I'm going to move on. Look, let's say, but everybody knows his point of view. Let's say someone resigns at your firm, Jeff. This is a real situation from Jerry's Facebook group. Do you pay her the outstanding fees that
Jerry's
you owe?
basement group? What
Jerry's
kind of slam is that? I work from home, dude. That doesn't mean I'm in a basement.
I said your Facebook group, okay?
What?
Your Facebook group. Wake up.
Oh.
Okay. It says.
I'm with you. Okay. Yes,
okay.
Facebook group.
Okay. You've got an employee.
Man, it's a hostile group.
I'm very sensitive. I mean, Animal and I have kind of been through a lot here the last couple of weeks. He starts a lot of fights, and I'm trying to be as mellow as I can about it. And I thought that was a slap in the face.
Question answered. Jerry, you keep. Okay. Look, Jeff, you got somebody working for you. She's a big biller, or maybe she's not making $1 million, but she's a pretty good recruiter. She wants to go work on her own. Are you going to pay her what her fees are when the guarantee is up on her jobs? Because there's some people who threaten not to.
And you're talking about she's going to go start her own recruiting firm?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, if the cash isn't in on the day she leaves, she's not getting the money.
Shocking.
Why?
Why is it shocking?
She made the money for you. Why shouldn't she get her cut?
Yeah, why wouldn't you pay her?
She made the money. I made the money for her. She was able to be an employee here who leveraged my company and benefited from it, and I'm supposed to reward her for starting her own business and to compete against me? It doesn't work like that.
Shame on you. Yes, it
does.
That's
New Jersey right there. That's the garbage business
why would you partner with
in
her?
New Jersey.
I mean, like a recruiter goes out on their own. I mean, wouldn't you want to at least partner with them and have a little bit of control about where they go?
My partners exist, the ones that work on my payroll, not their own.
So how can anybody?
Bam! This guy's good.
How can anyone ever leave your company? How can anyone ever leave your company unless they let their pipeline or their funnel go down to nothing, so you fire them?
What do you mean? They have non-competes, but take the money out of the picture. They have non-competes anyway. They're starting from scratch all the way around.
Yeah, they'll go into a different industry. They're not going to compete with you, but they're going to be recruiters working for themselves.
Specifically, let's say, Jeff, the guy makes a couple of placements. He's been a good recruiter the whole time. He says, I'm going to do what you did. I'm going to take the path that you took. I'm starting my own agency.
Sure.
You're not going to pay him the commission on the fees that he placed?
Generated?
If the money is not in the bank when he leaves, no, I'm not.
So can he just sit there and drink coffee until the checks come in?
Listen, there's productivity reports every day. You always know when people are slowing down.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
just
you're
saying,
describing exactly what I did. I left a large firm, the Lucas Group. I was an executive senior partner there. I decided to go out on my own. I left with the clothes on my back. No one.
Yeah,
there was money on the table.
Believe me, I've been there.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, how long did it take you to get good as a recruiter? Now, the thing is, you were already a successful businessman, and I think that probably was a factor. How long did it take you to get good?
It probably took me a full year. I will tell you that when I started in the business, I didn't make $1 my first 5 months.
Why?
I was learning the business. I had fall-offs. I really didn't have my mojo going on. I didn't understand what the clients were looking for. It's a learning process to be good in this business.
No, really. What did you not know? Sorry, did Mike Cox want to say something there?
No, that's Jerry's punch in the gut that you got to take.
Repeated.
$50,000 punch in the gut. That's not what he's talking about. He's saying he didn't have the skills. What skills did you lack exactly? You had a fall off. Was that your fault?
I think I could have done a better job. I do think I could have done a better job. Listen, being a great recruiter is not just throwing stuff against the wall and hoping it sticks. I mean, there's a whole science to it, literally a science, whether it's taking the right job order form and getting all the details, whether it's taking really detailed candidate data sheets to really understand the things that aren't on the resume. There's a lot of work to it, and it takes time when you don't know the business to really get launched. You know what?
We have a rule here. We have a rule here, Jeff. First, I'm going to compliment you before I criticize you, okay? I want everybody to notice, I didn't take this guy to task for calling on a lousy phone because he was smart enough to call on a good phone, okay? People say I'm a nut because I criticize people for calling on lousy phones.
And lots of other reasons.
Yeah, he's a professional. He knows what's the show if you can't hear the guy, okay? I can hear him. But number two, we got a rule. Don't be general. Be specific. That's why I asked you, could you have done something to reverse that specific fall off? Tell me, what exactly
How would he remember his fall off?
He just remembered. I didn't have to remind him.
25 years ago.
Remembered.
That's a stupid question.
You know what?
God.
The truth of the matter is that I remember why my first fall off occurred. And it was with a boat transportation company in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and the candidate I didn't drill down far enough to find out that his child lived in northern Florida, which I was recruiting him from, and didn't take into account that the relocation down to South Florida to Fort Lauderdale would have been an issue as far as even court for him to go and continue custody of his daughter. And so the deal fell off.
What should you have asked him?
So he did remember.
Yeah, I know. I'm right, Jerry. What should you have asked, Jeff, that you didn't say? Did you have any family issues? Is that like a one line that you missed?
No, I think I should have asked more about his personal side of life. What's going on? Does he have
legal?
A significant?
Is that legal? Is that legal?
It's perfectly okay to ask what their significant other, if they have a significant other, and what that person might do that could prevent or actually make a relocation occur.
Okay.
Are their skills transferable?
It took you 5 months to make your first placement, a year to get good. How long did it take you to get into the top 10?
In my third year, I made it into the top 10.
What was it that you were doing that made you that good? I'm not following you.
Well, I think that you mentioned it earlier. I think that I came to the table financially secure, that it gave me ability that others might not have. To listen, I'm never going to care more about someone else's job order than they do themselves. There's many facets to it, but I think that I had the confidence and security to be a little bit bolder than others.
That's not what I said, by the way. I didn't mean that you had a great bank account. I meant that you already knew how to talk to people about business. When you became a recruiter, you had professional experience. You didn't just get out of university. Is that significant?
It is definitely significant. It's definitely significant, but those things are all teachable.
They are? Let me ask you another question.
I think they are.
how much of your success is a matter of personality?
Probably 70%.
You just said it's teachable. You got this personality. Can you teach someone to be like you?
I've taught many people to be just like me. Now, listen, you're asking that, but that's the caliber of the people that I hire.
Good point.
So,
okay, hold on.
If you're asking
Derek
me if
Zeller's
I hire a
complaining
schmuck,
that the show's all over the place. Call in and ask a smart question. Don't criticize me, okay? I want to know why the guy's good. Okay, I'll move on. How do you train people to bill over $1 million a year?
You have to teach them how to multitask, look for the right clients, expand themselves into the clients that they have, and gain market share through existing clients, gain the confidence of the people that you work for, develop a great reputation,
okay, well,
get things done.
That's too high level. Could you do it for anybody or just for certain people?
You need re-ask the question.
Okay. Could you take anybody off the streets, like a Pygmalion story, My Fair Lady? Could you take Eliza Doolittle and turn her into a $1 million a year recruiter?
No, you can't.
No?
No, you can't do it with anybody.
What do you got to start with?
You have to start with people that have some just fundamental qualities, the social interaction skills, the ability to think quickly on their feet, the ability to understand the different jobs that they're working on. It's really, you have to work from the ground level all the way up to 10,000 feet and put that big jigsaw puzzle together.
Okay. How do you screen people to test if they're quick thinkers?
We do personality testing. We
really?
run a couple of different tests. Yeah, we do.
What ones do you use?
We use Selexis, and then we also have a proprietary testing model that we use here.
Okay.
Hey, Animal, could you get some basics out of the way? I mean, I know we're 21 minutes in, but
Go ahead.
Really
you
told
ask
us.
The question. You ask the question. Jeff,
tell us about your agency. How big is it? How are you structured? I mean, are you full desk people? Are you account management with sourcers? That's the kind of stuff people want to know. Not this crap about how do you know if somebody's going to be a star. I'm getting pissed off, and I shouldn't be. I'm sorry.
What is it that you guys want to know? You guys are stepping over each other all day
long.
Yeah,
I know it.
Ask me a question.
I will if Animal won't butt in.
I'll let you ask him a question.
All right, how many recruiters do you have?
100.
That's all I need to know. 100 recruiters. That's unbelievable.
What's the culture of your company?
It's very, very, very family oriented, even at the size that it is.
What does that mean, family oriented?
We all care about each other. We fight with each other like brothers and sisters. We laugh at each other like brothers and sisters. We drink together like brothers and sisters. And no one's allowed to upset that apple cart.
And when they leave, we treat them like family and we don't pay them out.
That's exactly it. With the will. I got to tell you, that's just the sticking point for the whole show. Okay, so here's the thing. With your clients, you say on your website that you have the first thing you do in a search is try to understand the company. Is culture an important part of that? Do you try to understand the culture of your company, the client companies?
Oh, very much so. Deeply. To the point, I mean, I myself, new clients, I get on a plane and I go to the new client once we get them on board. And I get to interact with them and find out what it is that they're trying to do, what the personality is, what would be the selling points for the candidates that would entice them to go there. And sometimes they're not good companies. So, it's not... we're not a typical recruiting company that dials for dollars, gets somebody on the phone that says yes, and then we throw stuff at them.
So you reject clients who you don't think are good companies. Is that what you're saying?
I have done that, yes.
No, it doesn't sound like what you said before. It sounded like it was a regular thing. You don't like the company after you've been there a day or two. You say sorry, goodbye. Is that what you're telling me?
I said that has happened. Well, listen, would anybody want to spend time with people they don't want to work with?
You know what? They're the guys who need recruiters. They're the guys who need recruiters, the lousy companies. They're the guys who need you to sell them, not falsely. Just sell them. But let me come back for a second. When I asked you the culture of your company, what did you tell me? Oh, we're family-oriented. We're nice to each other. That's not a description that a recruiter can work with. What does it mean with this culture thing? I want to know if you break it down to something specific or if it's really general like that, which is my experience.
Sure. So an instance would be, listen, every morning, there's a morning meeting where we regroup everyone together, find out what's going on for the day, what needs to be addressed, what's talked about. Sometimes it's celebration. Sometimes there's issues that need to be addressed. But together as a family,
I misled you. I didn't make it clear. I'm trying to find out, just like when I asked you what your culture was, and I'll move on if we're going to get stuck on this. If I asked you what your culture is, you gave me a throwaway line, even if it's true. How do you get more than that from your clients, or do you really want? If they say we're family oriented, is that enough?
Oh no, I qualify the clients as far as where they stand in the industry, what outsiders are looking and saying about them. There's many different parts.
No, culture. Culture. I'm moving on. Okay.
Well, you're making me feel like I'm not answering your question, and I don't want to do that.
Not answering the question, okay?
Now, Jeff, you were doing it. Hold on. Jeff was doing a fine job of describing the culture. First, he was kind of wide with, we're a family. Next thing you know, you said, clarify it. He said, well, we start off every day with a meeting. We discuss, and you jumped right in and said, that's not it. He was doing a fine job.
Okay.
Let people answer these damn questions, or stop asking questions.
Does anybody else have a question? Okay. Anybody else that do better than me? Rebecca? Mike Cox? Whoever else is here? I'm opening more lines.
Who's on the phone that is not even really connected to us? Who's beeping in and out?
I don't know. Somebody on a bad phone. Okay. Jeff.
How can a recruiter have that kind of a crap connection?
I want to finish addressing what your previous question was when you talk about the clients we bring on board. Some of the questions we ask are, why should someone work for your company? Rumors, good or bad. Why not work for your competition? Rumors, good or bad. What are the 4 most important things you and your company have to attract a qualified candidate? What is special or unique about you, your company, or your opportunity? These are all things that are done in the qualifying process when clients are coming on board. I'm thinking that addresses what you're looking for as far as drilling down far. Am I touching on it, or am I...
No, let's move on. I'm wrecking the show, okay? I'll take responsibility. Here's everybody's favorite question. How many people did you recruit on Twitter last year?
I didn't recruit any off of Twitter.
Did anybody in your office recruit anybody from Twitter?
To the best of my knowledge, no one has. That's not what clients pay us to do.
Really?
That's 100 recruiters not getting crap. That's your next 100 shows answering 0, Animal.
Well, you know what? If you read every recruiting article, they're all saying social media. That's where you're recruiting. And here's a guy with 100 people in his office, and Twitter's just not that significant.
Jeff, how many of those people are recruiters?
64.
Okay. And are they all full desk people, or do you have account management?
They are.
Okay.
No, you break it. I read your website, Jeff. It says you break it into recruiting teams. There's a client relations person, there's a industry expert, and there's a researcher, right?
Well, whether you want to call it a client relations, a global account manager, there are people above the 64 people that lead their teams, but they all run a full desk.
Okay, so the people on the phone with the customer are also back at their desk recruiting?
Correct.
Okay. Jeff, what do you want? What do you think? I mean, you're a trainer of super recruiters, right? And we're just not connecting. What should I be asking you? What do you want to tell the audience here? What would you ask you if you were me?
I would ask you about, but I don't think I'm being specific enough for you. I mean, what it takes to run a successful firm. It doesn't seem that my responses are getting you to where you want to be.
Look, Jeff, let me put it this way. Your partner's on next week. You don't want him to look better than you, okay?
Oh, he could never look better than me. He could never look better than me.
What does it take? Go ahead. You tell us. What does it take to run a successful firm? And
that's the stuff I want to know, dude, because we've got a guy running a major staffing firm, and we're sitting here asking, I shouldn't say we, you are asking him about dumbass culture questions. And do you fire a client? This guy, don't blow it, Animal. You've got another half an hour. Don't blow this.
Go ahead, Jeff. Tell us.
I think that you have to be able to associate yourself with all different levels of people in all different organizations. There's opportunities that are presented to recruiters on a daily basis. Some are the right way. You talk about, making money. Listen, a recruiter is a professional person. To me, there's no difference between your lawyer, your doctor, and your recruiter. And a person who's running a desk has to treat their desk as a professional environment. So they have to determine almost reverse logistics. How much money do you want to make this year? Okay, you want to make $200,000? Breaks down to what? About $100 an hour. Okay, when you're on the phone doing your tasks, and it's worth almost $2 a minute. Everything that you do every minute of the day has to have value. Are you going to pick up the phone and waste 20 minutes and take $40 or $60 out of your pocket for that phone call? Or are you going to be on a phone call that has a return on investment? That's the way you have to think about your desk when you're an executive recruiter.
Okay, let me ask you a specific question. I read an article by Rachel somebody or other at Yahoo. She's a recruiter there. She says before she contacts somebody when she's, recruiting people, she does a lot of research about them and puts it into an email. She'll look and see if they've got a blog or if they've commented on some kind of site, and she'll refer to that. And she said the more customized the email is, the better her response. Sounds to me like it takes quite a while to put one of those emails together. In terms of this time management that you're talking about now, is that worthwhile? Is that what you encourage your people to do? Or do you just get on the phone and call based on a LinkedIn profile or a title?
No, I think that the screening process, in order to determine even to make that call, that you do have to do due diligence on that. Here's the problem with the world, the executive recruiting world today, and that is this, and I tell every one of my employees this, whether it's doing a business development call, well, it's not a call. If you want to send an email to a client or a potential client or even a potential candidate, okay, I have never seen a hand come through a computer monitor and hand somebody a check. I've never seen a fee agreement signed that came out of the computer monitor. Pick up the phone, call, and talk to people. That's the part of this art of executive recruiting that's being lost daily because people seem to think that technology, even you mentioned Twitter, okay, technology is going to make them make the money. That is not how it works.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But what about, you say, how much time you put into researching a person before you call them? Like usually, I think it's enough if you find they're in the right company and they've got a good title, then you call them up. If you can find a profile online, fine. But otherwise, find out once you're talking to them. Lots of people are saying that's bad. Find out as much as you can before you call them.
I don't buy into that. There's four things that can happen on the phone call, right? One, the guy is qualified. Two, he may know somebody who is qualified. Three, he can become a potential client. Or four, you just move on. It's the four things. All the things you're talking about, this preparation and due diligence, pick up the phone and call the people.
Okay, but they're always saying as well, I'm just telling you what I'm reading, but they always say, these recruiters are calling me and they didn't do a lot of research and they called me about a position that I wouldn't be happy about. Like, so what? We'll find out when we talk to you. That's my position. Is that your position as well, or do they have a legitimate complaint? Okay.
No,
good.
I it is my position as well.
Okay. Are you good at getting referrals? from people you just
I really
met.
am.
How?
I really am.
How?
I don't know whether it's voice inflection, charm, my beautiful good looks, if they meet me face to face, but I'm always able to get some kind, not always, it's not 100%. I'm very fortunate that I do get a lot of referrals.
Where are your customers located, Jeff?
We're global. I have an office in London, I have an office in Saudi Arabia, and then I have one in Canada and 6 in the United States.
Wow.
Jerry, you have anything else to follow up?
I'm just going to have to start a fan club here. I don't need any. I don't have to ask any questions.
Jeff,
I'm just trying to get some perspective here, dude. This is a global guy, offices in multiple locations, and we're asking him stupid questions.
Why are they stupid? They're nitty-gritty questions.
Did you play somebody on Twitter?
Like this.
Come on.
Jeff,
what is Twitter? Let me turn that around. What has Twitter done for you? You
Nothing.
seem to be a huge fan of Twitter. Well, what has Twitter done for you?
You talking to me personally? Nothing. It's a waste of
what
time.
About
I've said that for years.
That's how I get people to come to listen to the show. I announce the show on Twitter, and I enjoy it. It's a pastime.
The same 10 people.
Here's my point, Jeff.
Did you just say the same 10 people?
Jeff,
Yes,
I like to read articles about recruiting, and then when they sound like nonsense, I like to bounce them off guys like you to see if you agree with what the articles are saying, or if you say, hey, that doesn't make any sense in the real world. So I'm the only guy. The people who listen to this show are the only people in the world who can read articles about social recruiting and say that's nonsense because we ask real people. Now, I get criticized for asking these nitty-gritty questions, but that's the truth about what's going on, okay? So that's why I asked you the question about Twitter. That's why I asked about Facebook. I can ask you about GitHub and all those other social sites.
I've got another question. Let's say here in the States, Jeff, what is your expectation for a new hire? Back up. Are you hiring experienced recruiters or do you hire non-recruiters and train them?
We hire both, but my preference is to hire non-recruiters and train them.
Wow.
Okay. Why is that?
Because they bring no bad habits to the table. They can take all the knowledge and power that we have here. I mean, we have a full-blown training person here. We have on staff, full-time, executive coach. We offer things through our company that most others don't. The training they get from here is remarkable.
Do you look for a background in sales, or what's the key experience that they have to have, even for the new hire, no experience position?
I'll tell you a model, and it's not like it's so secretive or proprietary. Yeah. I look for someone that's a college graduate that has either done one or two things through high school or college, and that is either work to help support their career or been involved in organized sports. They're a team player. I look for them to go out into the workforce for 3 to 5 years doing hard jobs, things that you have to work your way up through a ladder, and that model is a great model for me. Those people end up being successful so far.
All right, and then
so what's the first 90 days like then?
Yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to ask. I'll let you ask that though.
The first 90 days, well, certainly the first 30 days is almost full-time training. They're getting all the fundamentals. I tell them all, listen, I'm Mr. Miyagi and you're the Karate Kid, all right? I'm going to tell you to put wax on and wax off, and you're going to go, why is he making me do this every day? But eventually, as time goes by, all the pieces fit together. And the training lasts for 90 days here at our firm to really get launched.
When do you put them on the phone?
They start getting on the phone in the second week, but it's only to learn fundamentals. It's not like they're running a desk. So
you don't have them out just calling new customers and trying to do make placements on day 3 then, like most agencies.
No, they lose their credibility really quickly. You get somebody on the phone who can ask them some questions, and it just backs them up, and they stutter, and the guy goes, I wish you the best of luck, but I'm not moving forward.
Do you wash people out in training? You see that they're not going to make it in that first 90 days based on how they're responding to the training?
I do.
What percentage do you think? Half?
We wash out 50%.
Okay.
We wash out 50%.
What do you ask
It's a
people to
hard
get
business.
the referral? What do you ask people to get the referral? That's what I want to know.
I gotta
referral
go.
for a candidate or referral for business?
For a candidate.
Hold on. Before you answer that, Jeff, can I ask, Animal, what made you think that Alejandro and I weren't asking valuable questions, that you then had to come in and say, role play a referral? God.
Okay. There's a lot of people on the line. Who wants to hear about how he gets referrals, and who wants to hear about how he trains his staff? There's a lot of people here. Speak up. It's open. The line's open. What?
No, the thing is, a lot of people are talking about how there's a shortage of good recruiters, and there's always this conversation going on about how recruiters are calling, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and now there's a talent shortage out there, and here's somebody talking about how he gets his workforce up and running. I mean, why wouldn't we explore that?
That is definitely a great question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Finding out how he's running his business and where he's going is perfect.
Go ahead.
I want to hear that.
So thanks, everybody. Animal, come on, man. I'm trying to save this show for you, dude. You're asking a guy with 100 employees around the globe if he recruits on Twitter.
You know what?
What he says to referral somebody. Come on, man.
You know what? A guy who's training people to be big billers, $1 million billers, I want to hear what he teaches them, okay? But go ahead. You ask your question.
I thought we were.
I'm just curious how it can be a family business if you're firing 50% of your new hires within 90 days, but that's just me.
You can't have a family unless you choose the members. Most families hate each other. They're not very familial. I can understand that.
Newman, are you saying that you can't tell within, geez, I don't even know if it takes 90 days. You know if somebody's got the balls and the energy to be a recruiter. You can tell from the first week that they've picked up a phone.
I think you can tell from the first day that you hire them whether they're going to come in and be lazy, not listen to what's being told.
So what's your problem with cutting people out, family or not?
I think just 50% sounds ridiculous. It sounds very, very high to me, and I think one of the issues, Michael mentioned it before. He said the people who listen to the show are the people who are reading the articles. I think one of the issues we have as an industry, what our reputation is hundreds of 24-year-olds who can't tell they're behind from their elbow, getting on the phone, making calls, no matter how good their training is. And
Jeff, let's respond to that.
Well, I think that you say it's not family because you wash people out. I think it actually is family by letting someone and sitting with them in the face and saying, listen, this business is not for you. Don't waste another day of your life being involved in this. Go find something else that you're better at that's a better career for you. And to me, that is family.
Deliver
them a favor.
Let me ask a question. Gary, lay off. I got a question. 50% of a positive hire rate is pretty bad. Is it because you're taking inexperienced people, and if you were actually hiring experienced recruiters, that you would make better hires? Because you're making bad hires. That's a lot of bad hires. That's what
Jeff,
I don't agree with that statement at all. I don't agree with that at all because in recruiting, in general, 9 out of 10 don't make it a year.
Exactly.
If I have 5 out of 10 that make it a year, I'm far ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
So are good recruiters somewhat born, or are they made? In other words, you're looking for those people who are going to intuitively get it and know how to hustle and kind of be slick.
So perhaps the other option, not born or made, maybe it's are they found?
Or mentored or trained.
Yeah, 50%. Animal, that's only during the first 90 days. By the end of that first year, I would imagine there's only one, maybe two, of the group of 10 even left.
Not in my company. Not in mine. It's more.
If you're getting rid of half, then you're saying the other half stays? Was that you, Jeff, or was that somebody else?
No, that was Jeff. I'm saying that over the course of the rest of the remaining year, one may fall off. We end up keeping 4 out of 10.
That's not bad, then.
Do you think if you tightened up your interviewing process with the candidates, with the people you're bringing in, that you might get a higher rate? I'm just curious. Like, what?
No, it's a very tight process. My mindset is, and I'm saying but I mean we have a team who's involved in this process. We don't sit there. I was speaking at the National Diversity Conference last week, and I heard someone say this, and it is really the way we work. And that is this. We don't sit there and go, I think we might be able to do something with him. There's something there that gives me this vibe inside. That's BS, all right? Mm-hmm. What you do is you're sitting across from someone and you go, you know what? They got it. They got what we're looking for. There's a dynamic to them that's appropriate for this business. This is someone who I don't want to leave the office unless we talk to them about joining. Those are the people that get hired. We don't just fill seats.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, you sound like Danny DeVito, just not quite as hoarse, but that's how you talk. Okay, people say that recruiting is all about relationships. I don't agree. Do you?
I totally agree that recruiting is 100% about relationships.
Animal, why would you disagree with that? Are you serious?
Because you also agree with me, Jerry, that recruiting recruiting is transactional. You're a guy who
it's about relationship with your customers, dude. That is my sole purpose in life, is my customers and the relationships with those customers.
Okay.
Do you think that my customers who work with Amanda Andrews in my company work because the name on the door is Mac Recruiters, or they work because Amanda Andrews does all the things that they request of her and fills the positions? Because if you think it's because of the name of the company, you really should look for another radio show.
Well, you didn't understand my question, Jeff, and neither did Jerry, but I understand that, okay?
I most certainly understood.
No,
You're asking
didn't.
What
if you be quiet
are we in a relationship business? And you said no.
If you'll be quiet for a second,
I can't.
Let me explain, okay? That's the problem with generalizations. It's hard to know exactly what the person means. We call people up who we never talked to before, and it's pretty much, are you suitable for this position? No. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. And even if you are, okay, let's work together for the next 2 months or 2 weeks, however long it takes to fill this position, and then we're finished. And I know Jerry has said on this show that he's got nothing in common with the vast majority of the candidates he places.
Of course. That is absolutely correct.
He's not trying to pretend.
Hey.
You're not letting me finish. You're not trying to pretend you've got a relationship with these people. You're not worried about building a lasting rapport with them. You just want to do business with them, just like a doctor does business.
Your problem is the word relationship. The relationship isn't, it doesn't have to be a lifelong relationship. It has to be a partnership where you're working on this particular business situation.
Or how about just professional and courteous? The relationship is with your customers. The relationship is built when somebody sends me a check.
Okay.
Can I ask
Jeff,
the candidate a question, or can I ask the guest a question?
Go ahead, Rebecca.
Over the next 5 years, where are you going to be growing your business?
Internationally.
What countries?
We will. The Middle East will become a bigger and bigger part. We're very fortunate, and that's a great story for your businesses or your listeners. But the Middle East will become a larger and larger portion.
It's a
of
mess.
The company.
How can you have recruiting there? How can you recruit people to work in the Middle East?
Because you're in energy
situation.
Part of our business is in energy, but it is not only energy. It's also in other areas. But we do have a large.
Are you getting called into China at all?
One of our clients is moving into China and has asked us if we will assist them in Shanghai. But we are not currently working there right now.
Okay. What about what I said about relationships? It's a call. It's not a long-term relationship. Do you mean it's a business of short-term relationships?
So, I'm not sure, and I'm going to ask for you to elaborate a little more. If you're talking about, hey, you talk to a candidate and you talk to them about an opportunity and they're not the right fit, and, of course, you get their resume for maybe future opportunities, but does anything happen past that? The answer is probably no. There's not a lot that we have to offer them at that point in time. Now, if you're talking about people that we make placements with, yes, we develop relationships. We have a quality control program that is very intensive after they're hired by a client for the first 90 days, and then we have yearly check-ins with them to keep in contact, see how things are going, and we take great pride in that quality control program.
What if someone after 90 days they tell you, Jeff, I'm not happy here. It's not. The candidate says, I don't like it.
We try to find out the reasons why. Is it due to the client not doing something? Is it due to the candidate, something going on in their world? Or was it just not a right fit? And then we try to be, one of the things, you ask why we're successful, we're extremely transparent. We have the relationships with the clients where we are very comfortable in going back saying, listen, we just want you to know this is what's going on. Is there anything we can do to get this resolved? And quite honestly, most of the time it's just a matter of people communicating, and we do get it resolved.
Really? So usually if people aren't happy, during the onboarding process or in the early days of the job, it's something that can be mediated. It's not a fundamental problem. Is that what you just said?
I did just say that, and I truly believe that.
Okay. So you've told us the important things so far that I've heard you say in recruiting are time management. It's essential. And now transparency with your clients. That's also essential. Any
Correct.
other building blocks that you want to talk about? Personality? It's pretty well said personality, too. Only certain people who you said, that's a guy I want here.
What I try to train and mentor and instill in my people is this, is that when you develop a relationship with a client, your job is not to talk about or dial the phone to go, what do you have for me today? And it's a 2-minute phone call. Your job is to get to know your clients, to get to know the intimate details. Their kid plays baseball. The wife is a marathon runner. They like race cars or whatever. And your conversations really, if you're on the phone for 15 minutes, 10 minutes of it is talking about everything but business. The remainder of the time, you can, of course, transition the conversation into, hey, I was just checking in. I had you on my calendar. I know you mentioned there was maybe some work coming up. What's going on? But I think many, many recruiters get to be known as headhunters and flesh peddlers because it's all about, hey, just calling to check in. What jobs you got? Nothing? Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye. It's your job to know your clients.
Mm-hmm. You know what? But isn't that kind of mercenary? Remember, I can't remember that guy, Joe something or other. He was the biggest car salesman, and he would always have balloons for the kids and play with them, and all that stuff was just geared to ingratiate his clients, potential clients, to him. So people know, people they can see through it. That's my opinion. Am I wrong about that?
Well, I don't know whether you're insinuating that the things that I do aren't heartfelt and that people should be able to see through that, because that's not the truth, and my clients know that from the very start. Listen, well, I'm a hugger, man. I go and see my clients when I'm leaving. I give them a hug goodbye.
Yeah, man.
I don't shake their hands or anything like that. I become a partner to my clients. I'm not a recruiter.
Jeff, I've just got to tell you, that is such a foreign concept for our host that
I don't know that he was ever hugged.
What's that?
I don't know that he was ever hugged, even as a baby.
Hey, I tried to hug him, and he freaked out.
Yeah.
Remember that animal?
What? But Jerry,
to this day,
I don't
you
remember
owe me
that.
a hug.
I remember sitting beside you at dinner, and you barely said a word to me. I know you off the social media and the phone, but Jerry, I know, says he's got nothing in common with the vast majority of his candidates. So why pretend? Okay. Why pretend? That's what we're talking about. And Jerry sounds like he agrees with me.
No, man.
I guess if you're pretending, that would be a valid statement. I don't pretend. I genuinely care. I come from nothing.
Animal, you're mixing how you need to develop relationships with customers and the interaction we have on a daily or weekly basis with the talent community. I'm not here to make friends with everybody that's ever programmed in C#. But I can be respectful and not waste their time and make sure that their experience with me is good enough that the next time I connect, whether it's an email or a phone call or in any fashion, that they recall pleasant things about that interchange, not what an asshole. I'm not calling that guy back.
I understand Jeff better now. I want to ask him at least one more question before the time's up. So, Jeff, what about persuading people to change their minds? If you present someone with a position, he or she goes out to 2 or 3 interviews, the company wants to make them an offer. They say, Jeff, I don't think it's for me. If you think it's good, will you try to persuade them to take that job?
I will, but I don't think that I have to try to fight for it. And fight may be a strong word compared to what you're saying at the end. The whole purpose of getting all the details about what candidates are looking for, what they're unhappy about, what their family is looking for, happens in the very, very beginning. So when someone at the end, and remember, we're walking through this battlefield together. We're not leaving the candidate out there to go, hey, you got an interview scheduled on Thursday at 2. Talk to you when they want to do one again. We're constantly in contact and keeping everything warm and nice. But the data that you get in the very beginning allows you to sometimes refresh their memory on the things that they may have forgotten by the end of the process.
Okay. So in other words, Joe, you remember you told me you want this, you want that, you want that, you want that. How can you tell me now you're not interested in the job? We're getting you all those things. Is that essentially what you're saying?
Yeah, but there's the answer is yes, but there's other parts to it. And, hey, listen, what promises that your company made to you right now haven't they kept, and why are you looking for this? Or, listen, you told me that you wanted to spend more time with your family. You're on 80% travel right now. This has 10%. These things don't matter any longer. They're not a factor in your decision. And sometimes you have to just refresh and bring them back to the pain points that they expressed to you in the beginning.
And that works.
It does work. Now, I'm certainly not going to say it works 100% of the time. Sometimes people make a decision or things change. It could be a relocation and a family member gets sick, right? There's nothing you can say that's going to make them leave the local area. If mom or dad has become ill, it's not going to happen. And you move on. You wish them the best.
They're locked in. They're locked in all of a sudden.
I think I've determined here really the only difference between Jeff and me, is about 96 recruiters and I think 4 or 5 other offices around the globe. Other than that, he and I are damn near peas in a pod.
Well, Jerry, you said you'd never try to persuade anyone to change their mind. That's why I asked him that question.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. When someone's not moving ahead, they're not moving ahead. That's not to say that I won't go back over some of the things to see, hey, where did we miss here? I thought this met those key issues we talked about, and explore whatever light there might be at the end of any of those tunnels. I'm not an idiot. But once I've determined that somebody's not moving ahead, then they're not. Okay. You, on the other hand, must be in Canada, you just badger people into a corner and say, hey, they said they wanted to do this, so they have to. I don't know how well that works out for you, but
what about
I'm able to read the smoke signals, dude, and spend my time.
A client, what? Jeff, Chappie, will you if the client says, if you think your candidate's really good, the client says they're kind of young or something like that, will you try to change his or her mind?
I do many, many things to try to create the right picture for the client to want to do the deal, which sometimes even includes financial contribution to make the deal work.
What does that mean exactly? A bonus? You'll pay a bonus?
Sometimes that we have stepped up to the plate if we're a couple of $1,000s away and it's the right person for the right client and they have a track record of success for us, and we have to contribute a little bit of money out of the fee in order to make the deal close. I'm absolutely willing to do that for the betterment of my client.
But no, that's not what he was talking about. Animal's talking about the customer doesn't want to hire the person. You're talking about they'd like to hire somebody but can't afford them. So I think maybe that was a misinterpretation there. If your customer interviews your candidate and they say, no, they're not qualified, but you think they are, will you badger them upside down like Animal does?
No, I believe my mindset is that they're paying me to do a service, and the fees are substantial, and that I'm supposed to provide to the client what they want, not what I want for them.
Huh.
Okay.
Amazing.
My final question, because the time's up. I'd like you to come back. I think it was a good interview, even though it wasn't happy. And I think you have a lot more to tell us. If you want to come back in a month or so, I'd be happy to bring you back. But let me ask you this thing. We didn't even ask you, are you working retained searches primarily or contingent searches?
We work three. We have three levels. We have contingency, we have engaged, and we have retained.
Do you do any contracting?
We do very little contracting, and it's more as a favor to our clients that have a need. But that's not what's sexy to me. Sexy is permanent placement.
Yeah, you know what John Sumser said, calling something sexy is a microaggression. I personally, I don't agree. But Jeff, is there anything you'd like to say? The show's over. It went really fast for me. Is there anything you want to say as a parting word?
You guys have been absolutely charming, and if you want me back, just let me know when, and I'm there for you whenever you need me.
Okay, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Chaponick,
Sorry, Animal.
Am I done?
Can't stay on the after show. Jerry runs that.
Am I supposed to hang up now?
Yeah,
unfortunately, because you're a wealth of knowledge, Jeff, and I'm afraid that Animal blew the first half an hour with such a resource on the phone. However, now we're going to critique the show and possibly.
Don't worry. If you want to come back, I want you back. Okay, so I'll be in touch with your people.
You got it, buddy.
Thanks,
you guys.
Jeff.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye.
You know, sometimes we have greatness in our midst and we blow it. Okay? I don't want to know what this guy's doing on Twitter. Obviously, whatever he's doing is the right thing to be doing. Way to go, Animal. Gosh. And so Alejandro and I are finally getting some scoop from this guy, right? Animal didn't like it. What do you think about culture or whatever? I don't even know what question he thought was far more important than how do you hire, how do you train, how do you know if somebody's going to make it in this business? How's that determined? Jumps right in. Wait a minute. Do you ever talk to HR? Or I mean, what did he say? What was that stupid question? God, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Jerry, can you hear me?
Who is this?
This is Lee.
Lee Harvey Oswald?
No, Lee Candioti. We've spoken a few times before, not recently.
How's it going, Lee?
It's going fine. I just have a couple of just quick observations to make.
Yeah, lay it on us, man.
I've been, recruiting for 30-plus some odd years, and I do a combination of contingency and retainer. I started out as a contingency recruiter, did a lot of retainer, and then I'm kind of doing a mishmash of it now on my own. And I think there's two things here that occur to me about Animal and why you're having the difficulties that you're having. One is that has Animal ever actually been a recruiter for any significant period of time?
That's an excellent question, and I can't personally say yes or no. I mean, we've talked about recruiting.
I'm just speculating here that maybe the reason why he's asking such dumb questions or irrelevant questions is because he really hasn't been a recruiter, so he really doesn't know what it's like. And when somebody gives him an answer, when a real recruiter who's actually been in the trenches and has actually done it for the profession for 5 years or more, and it gives him a real straight response answer, and he blows it off as not being right answer, or
he can't even picture it.
It
rings no bell with him because he's never walked down that road, Lee.
Exactly. The other thing is that I'm not sure, and I don't want to be too derogative here, but
none of us do.
He just seems to me that he only thinks in he lives and talks in a two-dimensional world where everybody else is in a three-dimensional world. And
I think what you're getting is. And we see this, and I'm sorry to jump in here, it's Rebecca. I think what you're getting is Animal probably runs a desk, but there's a huge difference between a person running a desk and a person running an organization. And when you start to hire, the questions start to get different.
I think it's actually a person who used to run a desk in the old days. Okay, I mean, there's a little further disclaimer there that I think Animal
I
needs
just think
to put.
he has very bizarre orientation as to what this business really is and what it's about.
I like that. Animal,
I think it's a
bizarre orientation.
I think he's completely out of touch with what it is that we actually do. You know, it's one thing, if you were to, it's almost like he's just a data bank where it takes in all this information from all these different articles that he reads in all kinds of whatever resources he gets them from, whether it be social or otherwise. And on one hand, I get that he really cares about this. I get that he really wants to do something.
He's passionate.
Ask good questions that are meaningful, but they wind up turning to be really dumb, irrelevant.
Yes. Look, let's face it. Here this guy was, 100 recruiters and salespeople, offices in Canada, Saudi Arabia, wherever. That guy has a lot of information, and more than only people who have an agency that they want to grow bigger. I think he had info for just your regular recruiters. He's trained enough people. Enough people have been successful because of his leadership that we could have, I mean, a lot of stuff we could have found out.
Right.
Culture? Do you fire a client? Come on, Animal.
I think some of it had to do with game plan going in. And when things started going off the rails, it's a linear type situation where he's looking at question after question after question.
But he should have known that this guy...
It's not always the easiest to divert from your game plan once you've gone in, in defense of Animal. But that's just something to look at.
Well, some of the
if I'm talking to a guy that's got 100 recruiters and multiple offices, I want to know how did he get there.
Right.
That's all I want to know. Not necessarily because that's what I want to do. That's a story. That's very cool. Not how long did it take before you knew you were good.
Well, there was he also misinterprets things very quickly and very easily and draws these bizarre responses.
Lee, have you had any personal run-ins with Animal over the years?
Very limited.
Do you know him? Do you know the man?
No, I don't. I've never met him. One time after a session when I was participating, he called me up and asked me if I'd like to be on the show or something, and he sent me a couple of follow-up emails and confirmed and said it would be in 2 weeks, but I never heard back from him. So
he left you hanging.
Whatever. But and that's not big, and that's not why I'm saying these things. Okay.
Sorry for drawing that out.
Is I think, like, for example, last week was a great session.
Loved
with
it.
the sorcerer lady. She was fabulous, and I think part of the not only because she was good, but also because of the fact that he didn't get in her way too much. It made it a pretty good session. This guy, Jeff, as you said, has done a really incredible job of building quite a firm. If he's got 100+ recruiters in 5, 6 domestic and some international locations, and how he went about doing that would be very, great to know.
So on a scale of 0 to 100, what score would you give this show for the day? All thoughts combined. Give it an Olympic score.
I'd give it maybe a 45.
That's what I was afraid of.
Because he just, this is a good guy who's really Jeff is a really good guy. Has really built if he's got 100+ recruiters in all these different locations, he's done a really good job of doing that. Okay, and I just think that Animal asks a bunch of really stupid questions, redundant, stupid questions, and in fact. It got in the way of asking some, when people like you and other people wanted to ask meaningful questions, he just kind of stepped on it, And
I'm sure that this feedback, though it's hard for him to hear, he needs this feedback.
Well, it's one thing if you want to be I understand he's also got his own little personal style and his own little personal MO, and he likes to act like he's a screaming baby child who has to be pacified right away and all that other kind of stuff. And that's fine if that's his MO, and I'm not going to make any judgments about that, but it really gets in the way of getting something done here, especially if he's really interested in having a meaningful show that lots of recruiters listen to.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Questions would you have asked?
And it creates value for those recruiters by getting the opinions of all kinds of different people in all different aspects of recruiting, so they can become better recruiters because they care about being better recruiters. Then that's one thing, okay? But
I wonder if he's listening right now, or if I know he's got a ton of cats in his apartment, so he's probably opening up a bunch of tins of tuna and stuff.
Whatever.
And can't hear what we're doing. All right, well, let's stop bashing animals. Let's stop bashing animals.
What question should we have been asking? If we could crowdsource questions that you would have liked to have asked this particular guest for the next time.
Well, I would have liked to learn, for example, I found it very interesting, for example, that he said basically every single recruiter that he has does everything themselves. In other words, they don't have hierarchies of people that do just research or sourcing, or people that just do exclusively client contact. And I'm kind of interested in knowing how he developed, what industries he's involved in and how they develop them over what period of time. And I'd like to know what percentage of his business is contingency versus retainer.
Yeah, see, because this guy, he's got, with 100 recruiters at his disposal, I mean, you could find out, hey, how many counteroffers are you running into? How many fall-offs? How many people are accepting jobs right now and then not starting because they got a better offer compared to 5 years ago? Right. I mean, that's just like really informational stuff. I mean, how many of his customers are asking him about contracting and he's turning it down versus, I mean, there's so many things that we could have.
Right.
Yeah. Well, who else is on the line that has some thoughts here? Because I have a business phone call I'm making at before 1:30.
Kendra,
what's going on?
Hi, I've been listening along. Yeah. No, I'm still out there recruiting sort of under the radar and looking for my next role. And I've kind of ruled out agencies. I don't want to do that anymore. But when I listened to him, because I worked for Slime and I really felt the pain. I left a lot of money on the table.
Felt the pain. Yeah. So you were one of the family members kicked out because the money didn't come in, but you had to roll.
No, I left. I went to a client. I was a client that we fired, came back hard and bought me. I don't want to go into it all because you can see it on my LinkedIn, but so I went internal, sort of sold out for the salary and the high benefits and the casual Friday. So I've seen both sides now. I did not like the agency, the way the rules changed, and our agency had a hard time specifically adapting to vendor management desks, where there's 20 vendors. And I really wanted to ask about that. That's, I think, would have been a good question. How agencies sort of manage and compete, and those jobs are out there everywhere. I think that's kind of a cool thing to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been.
Yep.
Could have been a great show.
I wasn't annoyed by the show. I found some of them a lot more obnoxious. I was kind of doing desk work, but it did make me think that there are good agencies that do run like a family out there with consistent rules, and I was a little bit inspired, to tell you the truth.
Inspired. See, I wanted to know. Do you start everyone on a salary, or are they started with like a draw versus commission? How do how are you compensating your people who are billing $400,000 a year to make it where they're not thinking, hey, I'm making you $200,000 a year. I'm only getting half. I'll do what I want to do. You shut up and count the money. I mean, what are the personality struggles you run into with your higher billers? Because obviously, he's got plenty of them. I mean, I just want to know that stuff. What do you do?
Yeah, in our agency, there were always the people that were kind of falling behind that needed to get their draw up. There was all depended on how much. I hope I'm not public. Kiss ass, where they're
no, this is
life
public.
raft or you and then you saw some real squirrely things happening. You know, the person that Skypes candidates all day Saturday, all of a sudden they're cut in on deals and that they didn't have anything to do with, and all kinds of very arbitrary things made me crazy.
You've got all the stories that we've all got. I mean, it's like...
I know, right? I don't think there are any new recruiter stories, but, you know, the interesting thing, too, about his little cut after 30 days, I do find it interesting that you can bring in the most desperate, hungry person that used to be a used car salesman, and you can make them a damn good recruiter.
Yeah.
And I think there's some intrinsic traits that have to be there, and professionalism.
And I think, I mean... Yeah, I would have liked to have known more about how he decides, because he was talking about, rather than just thinking that someone might maybe have something that could fit it, he said he knows it when he sees it, and he doesn't want the person to leave unless they sit down and talk about joining the team. He just knows that he's found it.
Well, and as a recruiter, we know an IT candidate, somebody you know you're going to be able to make money off of sooner or later, hell or high water. You know this person's we call them a walking placement, right? Same thing. But you know what they did to me when I actually was a management consultant, and I'm an accidental recruiter, and so I recruited because I got divorced, and same thing, I was either going to sell real estate or recruit, you know. And so, but I had recruited as a project manager for 10 years. I had built recruiting systems. It wasn't a far cry from things I knew about. But one of the things that they did was they gave me a script. It was typed up, and they gave me a pile of paper crap candidate resumes, people they hadn't talked to in 2 years, and just said, sit on the phone for the next 2 hours and call these people, see what they're doing, what they're looking for, if they're happy, you know, just and update the records. Just, you know, low impact, get on the phone, call these people, be nice, charm them, update the database, let's see if you can type, and see how many you can get through in the next 2 hours. And I think that's a really cool acid test.
Just whether somebody will actually just sit here and do it.
Yeah, but, you know, I've put candidate, you know, you've seen firms where they put candidates through 8 interviews. I think you'll learn more about whether you like the company or, because, you know, even while I was dialing for dollars and doing that, I was watching the rest of the people in the pit and all that. So there's ways to kind of see. Anyway.
Well, glad you were listening.
Hey, Jerry, I got to take off.
Yeah, I think we all do. So let's get some quick show scores here because from 0 to 100, lay them on me.
65. See you all next week.
All right, see you, Alejandro.
75 because I was inspired. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye.
Right, bye. Anybody else? Still
70.
70. Is that you, Rebecca?
Yeah.
How's life? Good?
Great. You?
All right. Not many people have 100 recruiters in their agency.
Yeah, I looked on LinkedIn. He doesn't have 100, but you know.
He does. Yeah, he's got 65 that are listed in LinkedIn as recruiters there. I mean, so what if he's got 88? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was seeing a number of 40. I was like, wait. I like the guest. I love the guest. I wish we had gotten more business questions. That's really what I was looking for. So
I wanted to know how he determines someone has got to go.
That's what I'd like to know, too.
I mean, they've got 3 send-outs, but they had 3 send-outs last week or last month, and that turned to crap. And, you know, maybe this one, you know what I mean? Like, when do you know? And, see, the problem with a recruiter running the agency is we've always felt the hope that a send-out can bring. You know what I mean? That new sun coming up in the morning, and you're like, oh, my God, you've got to send I can't fire you today. Let's see how that goes. And then it's like, we had to reschedule.
You've got that recruiting agency owner group, but there's not a lot of activity in there. How come?
You know, because I'm too busy. I mean, it's busy enough just screwing around with just the regular recruiting Facebook page, let alone feel free to ask a question, add some content, see what's going on. I mean, I think
it'd be great to have one of these calls with agency owners and really just kind of dig into, 6 or 7 questions. That would be great. So
I just don't need to know if somebody made a placement on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Here, we had a guy with an office in Saudi Arabia. I want to know, okay, how did you open your first office?
Yeah.
And
what was
especially
that
since
capital investment like, and how did you like hold your breath long enough to do it?
Yeah, like
right?
Because he was a very open guy, and he was like, I don't want to get into all that. We could have asked him anything. Like the first placement he made in Saudi Arabia, did he worry that they wouldn't pay the bill? You know, his first placement in Amsterdam, did the company tell him to shove it? You're in the United States. I'm not paying shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you do that stuff? But no, let's ask him, how does he define culture?
You know, Jerry, we see this. I see this a lot. I see.
Blew it, Animal.
Well, no, but I see where Animal's standing, and I see where we're standing. When I was running a desk by myself 3 years ago, totally different questions that I would ask today. Now that I have 5 employees and I'm trying to get people through the process and stuff. You know, even our selling cycle. You know, I used to call business owners and be like, "How come you won't put your people through a week training?" You know what? 5 employees later, I'm going, I know exactly why you won't do it. So, it's a lot of time. But here's the thing. We're talking to these guys on the desk. Animal's asking all the same questions those guys on the desk ask. If Animal had to hire somebody, it would be a totally different game. And that's really, that's why you guys complement each other well. So, all right, well, next time.
All right, well, I got to run. I got to do an interview prep.
All right, have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. Good show.